All right, here's what's going on in the community. Today, the Jubilee Homes invites you to their R&B brunch. It's at the Salt Space at 101 Wyoming Street. And by the way, that cost is $50 per person, but catering is by Henry's Hen House. They invite you to support them as they help to transform the community. Info at jubileehomes.org. Also today from 2 to 7, the Links of Syracuse invite you to their annual Men Who Cook. It's $75 per person. It'll be at the Owera Winery in Cazenovia. And guess what? If you show up today, you might get to taste some of yours truly's recipe. Now, what am I making? Well, you got to come to the Aware Winery today to find out just what I will be making as part of the Links of Syracuse annual Men Who Cook. Men from all over the community will invite you to taste their culinary delights. That's today, 2 to 7 at the Aware Vineyards in Cazenovia, New York. Next Saturday, or this Saturday, August the 19th, the Black Artists Collective invites you to their Black August Market and Movie. That's going to be at the Everson Museum beginning at 4 p.m. So check it out. Of course, that's the Black Artists Collective's Black August Market and Movie at the Everson Museum. That will be taking place at 4 p.m. They're going to show Wakanda forever and ever and ever. Oh yeah, and of course, Saturday is also the Mary Nelson Youth Day Barbecue, and that will be taking place from 11 to 6 or noon to 6. And last week I did the coolest thing. So I went to the Yankee game. The Yankees lost, but while I was in the city, that this is 50 years of hip hop. They had the concert at Yankee Stadium on Friday. They've got the Book of Hove exhibit I believe it's at the Brooklyn Museum, so you can check that out, or somewhere in Brooklyn. But the Book of Hove, and of course, concerts all over the place. But I went to the Universal Hip Hop Museum. It's in the Bronx. It's on 150th Street. It's about 10 blocks south of Yankee Stadium, not far from what we call the Grand Concourse. It's right near there, right. Actually, if you know the Bronx, there's the Bronx Terminal Market, and it's literally right there. I believe this is like a temporary location, but it was amazing. They have a live DJ, and they have actually this touch exhibit. I call it a touch exhibit. And so you basically you answer a lot of questions about your musical taste, and then they will actually create and curate a playlist for you based on your taste. You just do a QR code at the end, and you actually have a playlist. So, and by the way, it's free the whole month of August. And so if you're in the city, check it out. It's the Universal Hip Hop Museum, 150th Street and Exterior Street, which is like, where's that? But anyway, it's right literally at the same location as the Bronx Terminal Market. And it's right there, 10 blocks south of Yankee Stadium. In fact, a lot of people in walking from Yankee Stadium were parking there, because if you're trying to go to the Yankee game, you're going to pay. So you know how we complain about $10, $3 parking in Syracuse? Well, if you go to anywhere in the metro area, I went to see Beyonce last week. It was $40. Yankee Stadium, same thing. But you know what? As a smart New Yorker, I actually found parking on the street, and it was great. And shout out, by the way, to the Cornell School of Industrial Labor Relations. My daughter's an alum of there, and so we were able to go to the Yankee game and get tickets, and we had a great time. Had a little pregame at Billy's Sports Bar. Shout out Billy. Great environment, great atmosphere, and then we headed on over to the game, which is Yankee Stadium right across the street. So it was good. It was very interesting. My oldest daughter and youngest daughter, we all hung out together. It was just the three of us, and my daughter was like, wow, I've never been to this part of the Bronx, technically the South Bronx. And I say technically the South Bronx because, born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. When I lived in the Bronx, I never thought of Yankee Stadium as the South Bronx, but I guess it technically is. See, I never thought of that as the South Bronx. You know what I thought of as the South Bronx? If you go east of Yankee Stadium, all about several blocks east and south, like 149th Street and the Grand Concourse, and then all of that over there. When I was growing up, that was the South Bronx, not Yankee Stadium. I lived on 170th Street and Shakespeare Avenue in the Bronx. So it was about two subway stops from Yankee Stadium, and I used to go to Yankee Stadium with my grandfather as a youngin. Box seats, $4. We paid $1.50 for the bleacher seats. Back then, $4 was a lot of money, but and we didn't get to do that all the time. But it was a lot of fun. I'm just reminiscing, but I'm just thinking about when hip hop, if you will, when that happened for me, and when it did. And have I ever told this story to you? So I actually did have a chance to meet hip hop royalty. This is back in the day when I was a student at Syracuse University, and Syracuse University had what we called the Greek Freak, and so all of our radio buddies, Butch Charles, Mike G, and Donovan Wells, Mike Hilbert, Lee Cornelius, Ben Green. I'm gonna stop calling out names because I'm gonna forget some folk. But so anyway, this major artist was coming to Syracuse, and I had a car. So my it's funny, it was a replacement car. My car was in the shop. And so my responsibility was to pick up this artist who was actually coming to Syracuse to perform at Syracuse University. So there were 4 people. You want to know who those 4 people are that GK got to pick up from the airport? Well, here we go. Russell Simmons, Jam Master Jay, Daryl McDaniels, and Joey Simmons. You might know them as Run DMC. So it was Russell Simmons and Run DMC, your boy, picked them up at the airport. I forgot what year it was. It was way back in the day. And yeah, I picked them up at the airport in my little Chevrolet Nova. And and actually I had to take them to get something to eat before we went to drop them off at the home of Butch Charles, or wherever I was dropping them off, because they were doing the concert, and then there was an after party at Butch Charles's house, affectionately known as the Mansion, because there were students living large on Comstock Avenue at the time. So Jam Master Jay actually spun records at Butch's house, and so. But we went to Burger King. I'm a struggling student, and I just remember it was the Burger King that was on Erie Boulevard, and then of course it was not on Erie Boulevard. Now there's a new Burger King on Erie Boulevard in Syracuse. Anyway, they ordered like everything on the Burger King menu. I was like, wow, what must it be like to just order anything? I'll have 2 double cheeseburgers, onion rings, whatever. And they basically were very hype. I was just listening to them, and they were basically talking about the next concert stop that they were going to make from Syracuse. They were going to Flint, Michigan. And this is the early days, obviously, of Run DMC and Russell Simmons and the early label. And so that's my hip hop brush with royalty. The other thing I remember about hip hop is, as I'm a student at Syracuse University, this is in the late 70s at the time. And whenever I would go home to the Bronx, I would go to a club in the Bronx called Club 371. And if y'all know anything about anything, Club 371, DJ Hollywood was the DJ at the time. And so it was a little club in the Bronx. I don't even know where, I couldn't even tell you where that club is in the Bronx. But back in the day, when I was a young whippersnapper, we used to go to Club 371 in the Bronx. And I remember the song that DJ Hollywood would cut all the time was Roy Ayers' "Running Away." Y'all know that? Boom, 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 boom. Right, and that was the way that he would really cut that up. But and of course, this was at the time the message came out. Of course, the first real hip hop song to come out commercially, right? Because I remember when Rapper's Delight came out, quote unquote, I thought it was kind of corny, for being honest with you, because you would hear very different things in the clubs. Back in the day, the clubs really generated what was really hot, and they didn't necessarily play that. So to me, the way I interpret it, and I got to get some of y'all old school heads to come up here and verify this, but Rapper's Delight was safer for the radio than what you were hearing in the clubs. But the clubs was the real thing that was going on. So the other thing I want you to know, that August is Black Business Month. So please support Black business during the month of August. And Amazon is doing something very interesting. Not only Amazon, but support your local Black businesses in the queues. Y'all know who y'all are. Advertise with Inspiration for the Nation. But Amazon is also doing something very interesting. They have a Black section, if you will. So if you do online, if you do in person, holler at them, and shout out to the local Black businesses in the queue. Support them and make in the queue Syracuse. Support them and help them to be everything that they can be here on Inspiration for the Nation.